It's Thursday, November 10. In the headlines, Prime Minister Andrew Holness pledges to give Jamaicans tens of thousands of housing solutions, while the Labour Party stewards the government. Regionally, the opposition Dominica Freedom Party vows to boycott the December 6th snap general election. And in sports, we're on the pitch with news on the CG United Super 50. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Occupation of the main building at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in Montego Bay, St. James is expected to commence on a phased basis in 2023. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, made the disclosure while giving an update on the progress of renovation works at the multi-story Type A health facility. Maya Chung tells us more.
Dr. Tufton gave the update during the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industries MBCCI Mobe Expo 2022 held at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall in the first week of November. Dr. Tufton said he is satisfied with the progress of repair work done over the last 6 months. The health minister said that as at 6 months ago, he has been a lot more confident in terms of the progress being made and expects that over the next year, the phased reoccupation of that facility will commence. The minister, during his contribution to the 2022-2023 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives in May, informed that work under phases 1 and 2A of the rehabilitation program had been completed at a cost of $1.3 billion. Work under phase 2B is now underway and is aimed at remediating structural defects. That phase of repair is expected to cost $1.7 billion. Meanwhile, Dr. Tufton noted that the government continues to invest in the improvement of the island's health infrastructure. He added that there is a plan for major infrastructure development in health. According to the health minister, if members of the public visit the Cornwall Regional Hospital site, those visiting will see 3 cranes building out a 6-story, 250-bed facility for adolescent and pediatric care, and that construction is in full flight to be completed within a year. He revealed further that it will complement the Bustamante Hospital for Children, except that it also deals with adolescent care between 12 to 18 years. Dr. Tufton said that nationally there are big plans around building out Spanish Town Hospital, a 6-story facility at a cost of US $60 million, and Maypen and St. Anne's Bay under an Inter-American Development Bank IDB funded program. This, he explained, from an infrastructural standpoint, indicates the healthcare sector as run by government is progressing. Reporting for PBCJ News, I'm Maya Chung.
Discussions are underway to set up a specialized burn unit in Jamaica. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says his team is in talks with Petrojam to collaborate with them to establish the unit. He told the Jamaica Observer that he is unable to commit to a startup date, but possible locations for the burn unit are either the University Hospital of the West Indies or the Kingston Public Hospital. The National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, NCRA, is reminding food manufacturers to ensure basic requirements are met to be registered, and just in case they are in need of basic knowledge in the area or they are interested in getting more information, the NCRA will be hosting several public sensitization sessions this month. The National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, NCRA, contributes to the process of compliance and quality management by inspecting and monitoring food processing establishments, examining commodities at the ports of entry and in the domestic market, and ensuring that the scales and measuring devices used in trade are accurate. Speaking at a recent JIS think tank, Inspector in charge of the Food Safety Inspectorate of the NCRA, Janice Pinnock, said manufacturers must ensure that sanitization and other quality control areas are satisfactory.
The place needs to be clean. It needs to be secure, as in windows, doors, etc. need to be secured. It has to be pest-proof. So, for example, your doorway, you shouldn't have any spaces or crevices where insects or animals or birds, etc. can crawl through. You need to also have some form of system in place for your product, your formulation. You should know exactly, I am making this product to ensure that it's consistent. So I make one batch today to make another batch tomorrow, the following day. It would be good if you have your own formulation, and if it's like a low acid canned food, you have your process schedule, because that's like a higher up level of your formulation.
She notes that while the NCRA does not discourage persons who start from home, the standards must be adhered to.
Persons start from their kitchen, we don't mind, because you have to start somewhere. So some persons will say, I have this wonderful idea for this wonderful product. How do I start? But I'm in my kitchen. We don't mind. You can start in your kitchen, but know that when you're producing for your commercial, it has to be separate. So you cannot be making your commercial products and be cooking at the same time. You can't have your children running around. You can't have your favorite dog, etc., coming into the kitchen to be visiting you. It has to be separate. So it will be like, I'm working from home, but I'm not at home.
The NCRA acts as an enforcement body, a separate entity from the Bureau of Standards that acts as a trade facilitator and business enabler. NCRA Inspector of Imported and Domestic Commodities, Dr. Wendell Richards, explains.
When they're ready to come to us, for example, you want to import a product, we advise them either you bring the pre-shipment documents to us or you submit a sample to the BSJ for testing. So when they get those results, they then submit the results to us. We would review those results and we said, okay, you can bring a commercial shipment based on these results. Then we would take samples from that shipment when it arrives, okay, to verify that the information which you provided previously actually is in fact, which is in that commercial shipment, okay. So whenever persons come, they can come to the BSJ without coming to us. But once you're ready to put the product on the market, that's when you come to us. And that's when we will review the test results, review whatever inspection documents you may have from an accredited inspection body or testing body, and then we will give permission to put those products on the market.
Ms. Pinnock says you can check online for information about their sensitization sessions.
And it will include food safety, and that will include the registering again, and also product testing. So not just the NCRA, but also the labs at the BSJ will be participating. So it would be good if we have some persons here, if persons who are listening or watching, they can contact the NCRA to get further information regarding the NCRA and our upcoming sensitization sessions.
The National Housing Trust, NHT, has joined with Chinese developers Centauri Real Estate Company Limited for the construction of the project dubbed the Howard Apartments, located at Howard Avenue. The development falls in the constituency of Member of Parliament for St. Andrews Southwest, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke. Maya Chung gives us more.
Chairman of the National Housing Trust, NHT, Lennox Channa, indicated that this development is an opportunity to change the trajectory of the lives of the beneficiaries forever, a feat that needs to be lauded. As well as a feat that needs to happen, Mr. Channa indicated that the provision of affordable housing to citizens is a universal way to move any country into further progress.
Beyond this activity of tilling and sodding the soil, our policies and initiatives at the NHT continue to be groundbreaking, allowing our contributors to break into the ranks of mortgagors. Our mortgage financing options, led by our low interest rates, continue to shift the market toward improved accessibility and affordability. As an example of these favorable mortgage financing options, the future residents of the Howard Apartments can look forward to benefiting from facilities like our deferred and intergenerational mortgages, parent assist, 100% financing for scheme solutions, as well as our home grants. These deliberate policy positions and facilities continue to bridge the affordability gap for our contributors that need it the most. Over the next 2 years, the NHD will be developing 248 studio apartments here at the Howard. The development will be outfitted with green spaces and recreational areas to make life more comfortable and enjoyable for our contributors and their families.
The project, which is a Government of Jamaica collaboration with the Chinese Centauri Real Estate Company Limited, is expected to be completed by October 2024 and is projected to cost $2.4 billion. It is being built on 1.9 acres of land. Julian Jew, who spoke on behalf of his company, said it was an honor to be working with the government of Jamaica for the first time in this capacity.
In collaboration with NHT and work together with our general contractor, Sino-Hydro Corporation Limited, which is a Chinese-based international construction and engineering service provider, in the next approximately 18 months. To complete some 248 units before delivering them to the NHT. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past years, Centauri Real Estate has been dedicated in providing high-quality housing solutions to Jamaican market. But it's our first time working with the Jamaican government. We feel exciting, but nervous. We are excited because we are finally be able to join the government efforts to do something more meaningful to the Jamaican society. And we also feel nervous because we understand the job we are doing is very demanding. We need to manage carefully on our budget to keep in consistency of the principle of affordability. But on the other hand, we also need to make sure of the quality. The quality here means not only the quality of construction works, but also the quality of life.
Mr. Zhu passionately told those gathered his group will not compromise on quality.
We will also deliver a well-built residential complex with amenities including guardhouse, clubhouse, resting gazebo, playground, jogging trail, dry yard, rooftop terrace with lunch and exercising facilities. We understand these kind of amenities will be a little costly and will inevitably squeeze the margin of profit, which is usually very low for affordable housing solutions like this. But we will not compromise.
Present at the groundbreaking ceremony was Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who told the audience that his administration has committed to delivering tens of thousands of housing solutions across the country during their tenure as stewards of government.
So what is the government doing about that? The first thing that the government has to do is to put in place proper structures to give access to land and housing. And we have such structures in place. They don't always work as efficiently as we like, but we are improving the efficiency of it. One critical structure in our housing market is the NHT. And we have tasked the NHT to support the drive of building 70,000 housing solutions. Now, I want you to just absorb that figure for a while. 70,000 houses will not be sufficient for the government to get ahead of the demand that exists. But 70,000 houses is what we know we can finance for the next 5 or 6 years.
Reporting for PBCJ News, I'm Maya Chung.
Gas and diesel prices are up. We have that story plus your regular market update. Denita Rodney is at the business desk.
Motorists will pay more for gas and diesel when they go to the pumps on Thursday, as PetroJam says E1087 is to move up by 25 cents to sell for $184.91 per liter, and a liter of E1090 will also go up by 25 cents to sell for $188.89. Automotive diesel oil will move up by $3.96 per liter to sell for $227.53. Ultra-low sulfur diesel will sell for $235.06 per liter, following an increase of $4.50. The price of kerosene will go up by 25 cents to sell for $217.94. In the meantime, propane cooking gas will go up by $1.32 per liter to sell for $63.22, while butane will move up by 85 cents to sell for $68.59 per liter. Remember that retailers will add their own markups to the announced prices. The Jamaica Boilers Group, JBG, says its board has accepted the recommendation of the company's management to discontinue its operations in Haiti. The company made the disclosure to the Jamaica Stock Exchange on Monday, saying its board of directors accepted the recommendation at its meeting last Wednesday. The disclosure stated that operations at both entities ceased on October 29, which was the end of JBG's second quarter. JBG said with the closure, it will realize an impairment of $900 million, which reflects the asset it held in Haiti. For your market updates, in foreign exchange trading for Wednesday, November 2, the US dollar sold for an average of $154.22. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $113.46. The pound sterling traded for $178.11, and the euro sold for an average of $156. In JSE trading, the JSE index advanced by 596 points. The junior market index advanced by 30 points. The combined market index advanced by 835 points. And the All Jamaican Composite Index advanced by 126 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 98 stocks, of which 52 advanced, 34 declined, and 12 traded firm. Stocks advanced for AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Caribbean Cement Company Limited, and Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Access Financial Services Limited, and Barita Investments Limited. Trading firm were Caribbean Cream Limited, Siboney Group Limited, and Equity Line Mortgage Investment Corporation preference shares. The overall volume leaders were JFP Limited and JMMB Group Limited 7.35% cumulative redeemable preference shares with over 1 million units, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 800,000 units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Clico Investment Fund was the only active security posting a volume of over 2,000 shares. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, 0 securities were traded. In regional business, a Korean trade delegation including investors from the United States is currently visiting Guyana and has expressed strong interest in partnerships with both the government and local private sector on a range of development projects for which financing is readily available. More from Newsroom Guyana.
Among the touted investments from a visiting Korean trade delegation is the development of Guyana's first smart city, Silica City, a brainchild of President Irfan Ali. And proposals for private sector partnerships range from world-class housing developments and other infrastructure, such as new schools, hospitals, roads and bridges, the generation of green, cheap and reliable energy, improving water quality and training and practicing smart agriculture, among others. During an engagement at the Arthur Chung Conference Center on Wednesday with senior government functionaries led by President Irfan Ali himself and leading private sector actors, the government seemed poised to intensify discussions on this front and move ahead with the development of Silica City. With several agreements to be signed between the Korean investors and the government by the end of the week, President Ali also encouraged the local private sector to see value in the proposals and move to establish joint enterprises. Specific to Silica City, the Korean company Yeokon Architects and Urban Planner shared its vision for the state-of-the-art infrastructure. With a design to ensure it is the most ideal smart city, Silica City is expected to be the economic hub of the Caribbean, located 35 km from the capital Georgetown and situated in 16 km of total area along the Linden Suez Lake Highway. It promises to be pedestrian-centric, carbon-free, interconnected, sustainable, attractive and safe. Proposals were also made on a range of development projects with the private sector, even as President Ali said the Guyana School of Agriculture intends to capitalize on some, with a memorandum of understanding to be signed to facilitate smart agriculture training and technology transfer.
When we go to these international engagement and bilateral meetings, what we sought to do was to work with companies that will position Guyana's economy 2030 and beyond. The next 10 years is to build a foundation for a Guyana that has an economy that is way ahead of our time, that is futuristic, that is 2030 and beyond, that will create the jobs, the skills development for 2030 and beyond.
In market data for oil, oil slipped as an increase to U.S. interest rates pushed up the dollar and heightened fears of a global recession. Brent crude dropped by $1.19 to $94.97 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell $1.31 to $88.69 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, the opposition Dominica Freedom Party, DFP, on Wednesday announced it would boycott the December 6 snap general election, even as the newly formed Team Unity Dominica urged opposition parties to form a coalition to defeat the ruling Dominica Labour Party, the DLP. The DFP, which held office between 1980 and 1995, has not fared well in recent general elections, winning just 2 of the 21 seats in Parliament in 2000 and failing to win any seat since the 2005 general election. Speaking on the issue, DFP leader Bernard Hotault says, quote, "The DFP cannot in clear conscience continue to validate a deeply flawed and anti-democratic election process. The DFP will therefore not contest the December 6, 2022 general election," end quote. He says the party now views the election date as a day of liberation. The Grenada Tourism Authority announced the return of Air Canada and Sunwing Airlines, which both resumed service to Maurice Bishop International Airport from Toronto Pearson Airport.
In a statement, the Grenada Tourism Authority said Air Canada has a twice-weekly service on Thursdays and Sundays, and Sunwing Airlines on Sundays. The official welcome ceremonies were held for each carrier at the VIP government lounge at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Both flights were at almost full capacity. Grenada has been experiencing a surge in air traffic with new and returning flights and will see further added capacity from Europe in the coming weeks. Petra Roach, CEO of the Grenada Tourism Authority, says, and I quote, "The Canadian market is our 4th largest market, with an average length of stay of 12 days. Arrivals from that market were significantly impacted, as Canada was one of the last markets to fully open back up for travel. We are pleased that the Canadian government has now relaxed restrictions on non-vaccinated Canadian citizens' travel. Our team in Canada has been working diligently with travel advisors and tour operators on exciting corporate campaigns and incentive schemes, and feedbacks from operators in that future loads are quite healthy." Civil Aviation Minister Dennis Cornwall says the resumption of direct services from Canada is critical as we continue to rebuild from the pandemic. Government is continuing upgrades and expansion work, which started by the previous administration at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. The minister said that this will effectively meet the present and future travel demand for Grenada. For 2023, seat capacity from Canada will be 27,745, which represents a 52% increase over 2019.
The Ministry of Health has disclosed that 20 global experts are slated to visit Guyana for the second annual Mental Health Conference next week. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony on Wednesday said the conference will see the participation of reliable and trusted professionals. The conference will commence on November 15 and end on November 18 and will be in person instead of last year's virtual forum.
This year, we are going to have a lot of the presenters coming to Guyana and being able to present in person. The reason why we started this conference, because we really want to highlight the importance of mental health, not just in Guyana, but across the Caribbean and even in the wider world. And we want to make this an annual conference. So that's why from last year, this year again, we are doing it, and we are going to work to get it every year. We are going to have at least 20 global experts that are coming into Guyana. We have persons coming from Australia, from South Africa, quite a few persons from Europe. We have people from Asia, and of course we have from North America. Mental health is something that is often not spoken about a lot, but in terms of morbidity, we are seeing lots of people who suffer from various types of mental health illnesses. And this is something that we want to draw attention to.
In international news, United States President Joe Biden has hailed the Democrats' performance in the midterm elections, calling it a good day for democracy. But he has also announced that Americans are frustrated with the political divide. Biden says he is willing to work with the Republicans as his party could still lose control of both the House and the Senate. The president has defied a trend where governing parties suffer major losses. Al Jazeera's Mike Hanna reports.
It was in Pennsylvania that the predicted red wave was revealed to be little more than a trickle. In a crucial Senate race, John Fetterman overcame both a stroke and stiff competition from the Trump-backed celebrity Dr. Mehmet Oz, giving the Democratic Party a fighting chance of keeping control of the Senate. And President Joe Biden has welcomed the preliminary results.
While the press and the pundits are predicting a giant red wave, it didn't happen. And I know you were somewhat miffed by my obsessive optimism, but I felt good during the whole process. I thought we were going to do fine.
In the 1994 midterms, President Bill Clinton lost 52 House seats. In 2010, Barack Obama lost 63. This year, the loss could be in the region of 20. Making Joe Biden one of the most successful first-term presidents in recent history. The major Republican Party victory came in Florida, which has now emerged as a fully Republican stronghold, and where, in a strong showing, Governor Ron DeSantis easily held on to his position, confirming his status as the most likely challenger to any possible re-election bid by the state's most prominent resident, former President Donald Trump.
It'll be fun watching them take on each other.
President Biden also took note of a noticeable change in voter demographics.
In sports, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force went to the top of their group when they defeated the Guyana Harpy Eagles in Zone A action in the CG United Super 50 at the Queen's Park Oval. Here's a look into the match.
Guyana were bowled out for a meager 182 with Gudakesh Moti top scoring with 39. Leg spinner Yannick Carrier topped the bowling department for the Red Force with 3 wickets for 30 runs. Responding to 183 for victory, the TNT Red Force were led by Nicholas Puran and Jed Gully. Skipper Puran was the first to bring up his half-century, his 56th not out being his 16th in List A cricket. Jed Gully took full advantage of his opportunity, finishing on an even 58 not out, which included 2 4s and 5 6s to register his maiden List A 50 over half-century. 183 for 4 at the close of play, the TNT Red Force winning by 6 wickets.
The Reggae Boys battled to a 1-1 draw in Cameroon in their international friendly on Wednesday. Justin McMaster scored for the Jamaicans. Jamaica's Reggae Boys assistant coach Meron Gordon says the 1-1 result in the friendly international football match away to Cameroon is something to build on as the coaching staff continues planning for CONCACAF Nations League and Gold Cup assignments next year. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Thanks for watching.